Today we have a transfer special, and let me tell you now, this starting 11 and squad here, all these players, especially these lower star players, they are not going to be here in 3 months' time for the new season. Last episode we had a cup final. This season we splashed the cash. A transfer budget of £100,000. We've got about £4,000 left in the wage budget. I'm going to be changing things up here. Yes, folks, how is it going? And a warm welcome back. It's the Journey Manager, and we're back for a transfer special. We're going to be playing all the way through pre-season today, and also doing the first game of the season, which I think might be a cup game, but we'll figure it out later on. Now, first and foremost, since last episode, I did have 2 league games to wrap up real quick. We won them reasonably convincingly. The first one against T&T Club M, we won 3-6. I am going to question their badge. It's a telephone. I don't get it. Nevertheless, to win that game was nice. And then we had a rematch against Fortis. Of course, we beat them in the cup final just a few weeks prior. In the league, a 4-0 win saw us finish 4th in the league, which was a pretty good finish, in all honesty. Only 7 points away from the title, which when you consider the situation the club was in when we came in, is a really, really good turnaround. We came in for match 16 of the season, a little over the halfway point in the season. Of course, it is a shorter season here in Bangladesh, and upon our arrival, as you can see, a really nice recovery. I hadn't really realised at one point this season the club had actually been up in second. It is mad how quickly they had a downturn, and as a result of that, how quickly they sacked their manager. It does feel a little bit weird turning up for a season review where I wasn't here for most of the season. I mean, the team signed lots of new players. As you can see, the only new player that arrived and did well was Mark. 6 goals and 4 assists. I think he likes Bangladesh. Money across the board was down for the club this year. Not entirely surprising that. After years of dominance in Bangladesh, now to not win a title for, I think, 3 years, they're kind of feeling the effects a little. Fans player of the season went to Mohammed Biswas. I've got some bad news for the fans. I don't think I'm going to be renewing his contract. I could change my mind, but I feel like there must be better players out there. One man I won't be replacing, though, is Adilson dos Santos, a man who got a hat-trick from centre-back right at the end of the season. Yes, the Cape Verdean, a good little player. 6 goals in 11 games for this guy. They signed him last year and he didn't have the greatest first year. I'd like to think since our arrival he's done that a little bit better. I'll tell you what, my manager timeline in this save game I bet would be kind of interesting if the manager timeline was like just displayed better, because obviously we've moved around a little bit over the years, which is cool to see. But in terms of recent chapters, an Independence Cup win, you can see here, Zonny actually got the most appearances in the club's history in terms of league appearances. He is a player who will be sticking around next year. Board expectations for the coming year, you can see here, they want us to qualify for the AFC Cup, which is one of the cup continental kind of competitions here in Asia that we compete in. If we just look at the league table and rules, you can see in order to qualify for that, we are going to need a top 2 finish. 3rd could be good enough depending on who wins. I think it's the Federations Cup. Is it the Federations Cup? The Federation Cup. Hopefully we'll win that too. You can see here, dressing room atmosphere and managerial support in a good spot. The managerial support being in a good spot, I think, is going to be important. Of course, that's a reflection of just how well we've done this year. The board, reasonably happy with how things are going and how we've turned around the club. And I need the players to be on-signed because, as I've already mentioned, if we just sort by players with contracts expiring at the end of 2029 season, which is now, there's a big chunk of first-team players here. There are some players like Hassan Al-Gholi, who I really want to get on a new contract, but he won't sign yet. Going to tell the players the next season we want to qualify for the Cup. They love that. And you can see here, the players will report back for training on the 1st of October. Like I mentioned, contracts end at the end of September. And as you might remember, as I alluded to it last episode, I've already queued up a load of signings. Annoyingly, all these new players don't actually join until the 4th of November. So despite the fact that the transfer window opens sooner, and I think free agents can join in that time, players I've signed from other Bangladeshi clubs actually don't join us for almost 2 months. So it does leave me in a little bit of a weird spot, because right now it's the end of August. You can see here, contracts expire on the 30th of September, but it's then not until the transfer window opens at the end of October, and then November, the Bangladesh transfer window opens, that players actually arrive. I mean, in terms of the plan for this year, the defence is in a really good spot. That's been a key component of the team, and I've already got a load of players queued up to join us who are going to be big additions at the back. One thing that has been a major benefit for us this year is that because we are the big team in Bangladesh, I can kind of get free pickings of most players. There's one player who I'm desperate to sign who won't join me, which is Mohammed Hussain here, 21 years old, Bangladesh international. This guy looks like an outstanding goal scorer who I'm desperate to get in my team. I actually had a bid of £8,000 accepted for him. I'll show you quickly here. He doesn't want to talk to me. He doesn't think the squad is strong enough. I'm hoping that maybe if I can add enough players, I can convince him to join, because he would be just a talismanic forward to get in. If I do sign him, might have to switch to a 2-striker formation. Now, there are 2 key dates in the preseason. The first is, well, us releasing a load of players. Then the next is me signing all these players. So I think what we'll do is I'm going to go forward a month. The transfer window still won't be open, but at least I will have got rid of all the players that I don't need. Okay, folks, 30th of September in-game. The window is still not open, but lots and lots of players have been released. In fact, there's lots of players that I think I still actually need to release. I dumped all the players in the under-21s here who have contracts expiring. I think I'm just going to release everyone here. Sadly, in the players released, a dog poo will be going. Yeah, I'm sorry to the dog poo fans. His era lasted 2 episodes. Just as a reminder here, we only have 5 foreign player spots, and the maximum squad size is 25 players. There's no exceptions to that, so I really need to construct a squad to that limit of players. And while I've kind of got the skeleton of a team for next year, this is the players remaining in the squad from last year's team. I am really gutting things out here, but I do think it's going to leave us in a good spot. I do intend on introducing all these players once they join. There's one man, though, that I'm excited to talk about immediately, and it's Munkuk Chol. This guy was playing for a North Korean university. And I say a North Korean university because in Football Manager, there aren't actually that many North Korean clubs in the game, and one of them is, well, you can see here, the Kim Il-sung University. Recommend checking them out if you're doing a save game like this, because as it turns out, they have quite good players. I've managed to pick this guy up. He is going to be so good on the right wing for us. Just ignore the fact he has 1 jumping reach. Of course, I discussed this right at the end of last episode. If you didn't watch to the end, you missed on a little Induso kind of trailer teaser thing. This guy is still joining us. He'll be joining us in 4 days. He is going to solve all my striker woes. Just in some other transfer news, though, I did actually make the first sale, I think, during my time at the club. Akram Ahmed has left the club. He was using one of our foreign player spots. Not sure why they'd signed a player from Egypt before I joined Bashan Kings. I have got rid of him. Just remembered there's one more player I need to mention who's actually already joined us. He was able to join us because we've signed him from abroad as a free agent, and free agents can just join whenever. We have here Adnan Asadi. He is an Iranian winger who used to play for Amiens in France. He's ended up playing in Iran for a load of years. He was a free agent who we've snapped up. I think he's going to be stupendous on the left wing. You might remember Rahman as a player who I really bigged up at the end of the season. He was really, really important for us. A player who wasn't used by the previous manager. We made use of him. If I just do a quick comparison between Rahman and Adnan, I think you can maybe see where this is going. I don't think Rahman's going to be playing for us very much anymore. You'll note here, actually, the scouting budget's actually just been reset for the season, so I can actually increase this and maybe up the scouting range. I actually upped the scouting range to Asia for like 1 month to put loads of money into it at the end of last season so I could scout far and wide. And you can actually see I was able to scout a load of Iranians. I did have a bit of a scour at all these different Iranian players. In the end, well, Adnan is the man I went for. I'm only allowed 5 foreign player slots. And while some of these players were interesting, they weren't as cheap. I say that, I mean, Adnan is still signed for £350 a week, but he is adding some real quality. My committed wage spend for next year is only at £8,400. If I wanted to buy more players, I could still spend another £2,000 plus. I don't see that happening, but never say never. Okay, everyone, big news. I know what match we're doing today. We're going to be taking on the Fortis FC Academy. Now, they are a Premier League side. Ignore the fact they don't have a badge in my badge pack. That is a real rarity. That's how rogue a league that is that we're in right now. We play them in 41 days, and it is in the Federation Cup, which, well, I do expect us to go through. There is 4 groups of 4 teams. The top 2 teams in each group go through to a knockout stage, and naturally, I am going to be targeting winning this competition. In fact, you can see it. Bashantara win it every other year. So I feel like it's our year to win it again. Oh, and in some big news, I've signed Mohamed Hussein. No, it's not the Mohamed Hussein I wanted to sign. It's a different one who plays for the national team. You can see here the other Mohamed Hussein, who annoyingly is not listed as a realistic transfer. He has 1 M in his name of Mohamed. If I end up with both these guys in the team, it's going to be absolute chaos, isn't it? But the man we've signed with way more international caps is good. He's not as good as the one I still want to get. We are also reaching a point where I've got so many transfers scheduled here that I'm no longer looking at players to buy. I think I'm going to be right up against the 25 player limit. I've tried to keep track of it in my head. I have lost track of it. Ladies and gentlemen, finally, reinforcements have arrived. Now, of course, some of these players I agreed to sign, I think, during the first episode of this series. The transfer window was closed when we came in, but I knew what I wanted to add. I wanted to add in depth, and you can see here, there's quite a lot of players that have joined us. I've sent those that need to go on language courses. The fans' general reactions seem quite good, with one exception. Robil Hassan. I know some people are going to look at this and think, why have you signed him? And I wish I could say, I think he's a really versatile player and he'll be a great squad player. And there is a small element of that. But in my Gibraltar save game that we've been live streaming, he was an absolute hero for us and was like one of our best players. So I wanted to bring him along for the ride. I'll be honest, in this save game, he's not nearly as good at set pieces, which is annoying. But in terms of versatility, I can at least use him as a squad player. And I'll tell you now that I look at my squad, I feel a lot calmer. Obviously, I've been doing all this kind of planning of the squad in my head as we go. We now do have a squad of 25 players, so we're right up against the registration limit. But we do at least have kind of some form of a plan. I am still wondering if I need to go to 2 strikers, potentially. Mark, in some big news, by the way, has now got pretty good at playing striker. Ignore the fact he's got 4 finishing. He could play there if I wanted to. Like I could do something like this. Would it be the best use of his ability ever? Probably not, but it'd be quite fun. It has just dawned on me, our game against Fortis Academy in the Cup is in 20 days. I've not scheduled any friendlies. I'll try and remember to do that in a second. But in terms of things at the club right now, if you just take a little peek at the pre-season preview, we are now massive favourites to win the league. And in fact, when you look at the Media Dream 11, there's only actually 2 players that aren't our own. One is the Hussein, who I'm still going to try and sign if I can. But I do think it's a pretty good reflection that we've got the squad in a good spot now. In terms of the wage budget, there's still actually loads of wage budget left and transfer budget too. I've not really needed to spend it, but what we have done is target the best Bangladesh players that money can buy. In fact, if you look at the national team now, it is more and more dominated by our players, which is exciting. And on the pitch, to be fair, we've just got a little bit more quality here and there. I mentioned Asadi as the left inside kind of inverted winger, I guess. On the right-hand side, of course, we've got Munkuk Chol. The North Korean has arrived. From university, he quit. He's fled to Bangladesh. I actually think he's going to be an absolute baller for us as a creative player. Of course, and do so up top is another one of our foreign players. There's 2 other foreign players in the team. They are the 2 players who were here last year. Agayi, I wasn't sure if I was going to keep him around, but I've not been able to find a good, deep, defensive, creative midfielder like this guy. So his head is safe on the chopping block. And elsewhere, Dos Santos at centre-back, I was never really looking to replace. So we have our best 11 here. Obviously, it has the 5 foreign players. The defence itself hasn't changed too much. Just one new addition in a Lamb, who at 20 years old looks absolutely phenomenal. And just in general, we've just upgraded the final third and added way more depth. And I'm feeling really good. Like, without getting too carried away, when we came to this team, I knew it was a great opportunity to try and win everything quickly. And it might sound a little bit PSG of me. Genuinely think our aim for this year has to be to win, well, every cup competition that we're in. I mean, to be fair, the board expectation is to do the treble this year. We've already won the Independence Cup, just as a little reminder. Only these 2 matter for the miles. That doesn't mean I'm not going to try and win them all. Because, of course, and it is easy to forget this, winning competitions is going to help my manager rep and get me jobs elsewhere. We were looking at various jobs when I was in Malaysia. I couldn't get a job at a top Thai team, for example. Teams would just laugh off any interest if I tried to show it. Now we're in Bangladesh. Yes, we've landed a job. Yes, we're winning stuff. I really need to get that reputation going so I can try and find a job after this one. And I know it seems mental to be planning ahead, but I do think you have got to think a couple steps ahead with a save game like this. Speaking of which, here is a little update on our mile map. Of course, we're still working our way towards the UK. We added 500 miles for winning the cup last time out. On top of that, we got, I think, 9 wins and 34 goals, so our total miles now sits at 990. Does give us a really healthy little movement radius. I think in terms of logical next steps, India's maybe an option. We could maybe try and jump all the way to Iran or Saudi Arabia. Obviously, if we can add a league win and a cup win, we are suddenly going to be making some really big progress here. The big blocker then, kind of already mentioned it, might be actually finding a job in one of these slightly larger nations. Anyway, our first game of the season is in 20 days. Unless there's any big late transfers, I'm going to join you for that. Okay, I'm about to put my neck out on the line. if we don't win everything this year, I am an awful player at this game because I have managed to land the man I wanted to land at the start of the summer. Mohamed Hussein, the striker, is joining us. I've had to give him £700 a week, which is kind of absurd. It makes him comfortably our highest earner, which might seem mental, but look at this. B+ for fan reaction, 4.5-star ability, 5-star potential. He looks absolutely different gravy as a striker, doesn't he? I feel like this guy alongside Nduso up top, like if we don't win everything in Bangladesh in 1 year with this strike force, I am awful at this game. Also, I have just remembered I am awful at this game. Forgot to organise pre-season friendlies. I was too excited and carried away getting that signing done. I forgot the season starts in 10 days. Okay, look, I remembered to do a pre-season friendly. We won 4-1. It was worth it. I'm now ready for the season, which it is going to kick off today. Of course, it is only the group stage of the Federation Cup, but a win here with our brand new lineup would be a really good way to kick off the season. It's worth noting that we've got the kind of league stage games of this cup. Then there's the knockouts, and I think actually the season doesn't start until after the knockouts are scheduled. The final of this competition, I think, is played on the 6th of January, and the league starts on the 19th of January. So today and tomorrow, it's all about the cup again. Has also just dawned on me, I have both the Mohamed Husseins up top, don't I? I have Little Mohamed, who's not very good, and Big Mohamed, who's better. Can I just call them Little Mo and Big Mo? Anyway, in terms of transfer dealings, we really have rebuilt the team here, but I think we've rebuilt it smartly. Of course, Hussein naturally is the man I'm most excited about, but another player we spent some big money on, who also came from Sheikh Russell KC, is Mohamed Hassan. I've been training this guy at defensive mid because that's where I want to play him for the coming year. I thought after a few months he would have learnt it a bit better. He hasn't. You can see here, we're training him as a roaming playmaker on support. There is a hidden attribute in Football Manager, versatility, which impacts how quickly a player adapts to new roles in the game. I assume his versatility just isn't very good. Of course, the other two players that we picked up for money were Nduso, who we've signed from Myanmar. Really like the look of this guy. He is a quality striker, and at 22, he could have a good future here. And then, of course, it's the Little Mo. Yeah, Little Mohamed here, 27 caps. He is really, really good. He is only going to be on the bench. And really, the reality is the other signings that we've made are purely depth players that are going to come in when needed. Players like Gosh, love the versatility of him. We didn't really have versatility in the team last year, and that is something I've really looked to prioritise with these players that we've brought into the team. Players that can play a load of positions. Obviously, players like Rahman, who were regular starters last year, as we've already kind of clarified, don't have the quality to start in the team anymore, but as a sub option at this level, he is still going to be really, really good. And to be fair, for this first game, Asadi is coming back from an injury, and despite the fact he did a fitness test, I think I'm going to give Rahman the nod. Now, today's opposition in Fortis Academy have a media prediction of 9th. Last year in the Bangladesh Premier League, they actually finished above us, so this is going to be a good indicator of how do we match up against a team that were kind of comparable to us in the league last year. After the pre-season I've just had, if we don't win 3-0, I'm going to be annoyed. Now, in terms of the tactical system, I am playing this 4-2-4, and I do kind of view it as a 4-2-4. We are going to play gung-ho and on the front foot. It's going to be Nduso and Mohamed Hussein playing as a target forward and poacher. It's the little and large striker combo. Think Peter Crouch and Jermaine Defoe back in the England team of the golden age. I don't know if that was the golden age of the England squad. In my heart, it was. That's what I'm trying to rekindle here. You may have noticed Mark has sadly moved back to deep line playmaker, at least to start the year. I'm sure he will get time up front. I'll tell you what, with how much I've bigged up our strikers, if we now don't win this game, this is going to be really embarrassing. I'm certainly guilty of forgetting to organise nearly enough friendlies. There's going to be a little bit of a lack of gelling, and of course, whenever you pivot tactical systems, there's always that concern as to what I've switched to, does it actually work? I guess we'll find out here. We are at home for this game, and oh my word, Nduso's just been murdered. 5 minutes in, they've got a red card. I mean, that is absolutely madness. Apparently, their Rahman here, he didn't want to play football this season anyway. He's 16 and he's had an absolute moment of madness. Up his aggression to 20 right now. I mean, they've gone down a man. They're playing this really narrow shape. I'm going to look for us to play wider, look for overlaps, and really try and exploit those wider areas. Munkuk Chol, our North Korean friend, to Rahman. Oh my word. Maybe I can't drop Rahman from my team. The left mid's only in because of an injury to Adnan, the new left winger. And whilst the polygon suggests Rahman isn't good enough, I mean, how can you deny a finish like that? That is ridiculous. I mean, I'll be honest, halfway through this first half, having seen them get a red card, I thought the floodgates might open. It hasn't exactly happened here, but we're a goal to the good. They're not really creating anything. Well, maybe we can make something happen down this right-hand side now. Kukçol gives it back to Badger, back post, and do so. Headers it. Hussein, rebound. It is now 2-0. Can you imagine after how much I bigged up Hussein if he'd missed that? I'm glad he scored it. That could have been very awkward. It is worth mentioning, of course, Nduso's playing as a target forward, 15 jumping reach at this level. He should absolutely bully defenders. We kind of saw that on that goal. His header against the post set things up. Mark picks up the ball in the loose space, gives it back to our left back and captain in Hussein. It's worth noting, Mark is vice captain now, takes his responsibilities very seriously, spreads the ball to Badger. He crosses in, Nduso headers it against the post for the second time in this game. Badger bringing it forward. A goal before half-time would be sublime. Kukçol shoots, and Kukçol nearly scores. I feel like with Kukçol, I want to call him MKC. Can we just call him MKC, the North Korean attacking mid? He nearly scored a screamer. Sadly at the break, still only 2-0. I feel like it should be a few more. This might be mean, but in this half, I'm just going to play Mark at centre attacking mid, because I think we can probably afford to do that. MKC over the free kick, gives it to Rahman, back to MKC. Hussein in behind, could square it, doesn't. It deflects in. I'm not going to celebrate that. I feel bad for their player there. I'm not sure Sikta here knew anything about this. He was, well, trying to stop the cross coming in. That is just unfortunate. I have noticed they have now gone to a really defensive shape. Badger, why have you got injured? I suppose this is a good excuse now to bring in players like Gosh. Maybe I should bring in a few more players just to give them some game time. Right, you know what? Nduso, have a break. We'll bring in the other Mohamed Hussein. We now have two players with the exact same name. The only difference is one has Mohamed with 2 M's. My brain hurts. Let's bring in a Gaye as well. I'm allowed 5 subs. We'll make a trio for now. Hussein on the far side. Which Hussein is it? Because there is also our left back Hussein, who's also Mohamed Hussein. I have 3 players with the same name in my team. We need nicknames. Anyway, Mark has got it in the middle and turns and shoots wide. That would have been a really nice goal if it had gone in. 20 minutes left in this game. Yeah, look, we've had as many goals in this game as we have Mohamed Husseins in the starting 11, it turns out. Agayi is bringing it forward. He plays it towards Mohamed Hussein. He's going to get there. In behind, scores. And that is a very confident finish by the number 9. Just to be clear, the number 9 Hussein is the better one. I think you could tell from the finish. 3 minutes of added time. I mean, a 4th goal would be delightful. Hussein, Mark, in behind, does make it 5. There's less than a minute left in this game, and my players haven't got the memo that we don't need to score anymore. At least I assume that's what the memo is. Maybe the memo is that my players didn't hear. We need to keep a clean sheet. Golem. Yeah, he's found a career after Lord of the Rings. He whips it into Ahmed, who scores. I mean, at least I don't have to pay the clean sheet bonuses anymore. Okay, this game finishes 5-1. Great way to start the year. I didn't notice their goalie got injured before half-time as well. So I really don't know what we can make of that result there, but we won, and that's all you really can do in a game of football. Badger's out for 3 to 4 weeks, but I suppose this is where the strength in depth that I think we've added at the back is going to make a big difference this year. Last year, our depth options in the defensive area weren't that good, and I appreciate the star ratings make these players look a little underwhelming, but players like Rahman here are Bangladeshi international players that are capable of stepping up. Babu as well, of course, we saw play in a few matches in the first episode. He's also played for the national team. Yeah, these 2-star players are still very, very good. And I'll tell you who else is good. Mohamed Hussein, the good one. The striker who likes goals. 2 goals on his debut. Suspect he'll get a few more this year. Okay, folks, we are going to leave things there for today. I hope you enjoyed this pre-season kind of special. It's weird. The pre-season here is really, really long and really spread out. And because I'd had so many dealings kind of done in advance, it just felt like the natural progression for today's episode was kind of just to keep you up to date with the major beats of pre-season. Really hope you enjoyed it. Squad's in a great spot. Very excited for this year. If we don't win everything, I'll be sad. I was going to say I'll resign. That might be too far. Next time out, I'm going to come back for the Federation Cup knockouts because I suspect we'll be playing in those. Hope to catch you then. Take things easy. It's me, Jack, and I'll talk to you in a bit. I'm out.